Final Shape is the next major expansion due to release sometime in 2024. It's going to be the culmination of the Light vs Darkness saga in Destiny 2. And while it is the end of this story, well, I think there's plenty more to come. Yeah, we're not short of open story threads to explore, and today I want to look ahead to after the Final Shape and speculate as to where the story might go in Destiny 2. Well, before we get into things today, let me know in the comments where you want the story to take us after the Final Shape, and what are the open story threads that you'd like to see Bungie expand upon. Well, the Final Shape is the final destination for the story in the Light vs Darkness saga, or the culmination of 10 years of storytelling inside of Destiny. This will likely end in a huge battle against the Witness in the raid, or perhaps even outside the raid too, with Guardians from all over the planet teaming up to finish off the commander of the Pyramid Fleet. But what comes after the Final Shape? Is this going to be the end of Destiny 2? The game is not in a great place right now from a PR perspective, but I reckon it's in good shape from a gameplay point of view, and if Bungie can nail the story, then I'm confident that Bungie can turn things around, release a great expansion with the Final Shape, and then set up the next few years of great storytelling. So while we don't know a lot of detail about the next stories, we do have some clues. For example, in Bungie's latest showcase, they announced episodes. So we've got 3 episodes coming after the Final Shape. We've got Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy. Each episode was accompanied by an image, so we do have a rough idea of where the story may go. Well, first of all, we've got Echoes, and this one is coupled with an image of the Vex. And while the storytelling throughout the year of Lightfall hasn't really been up to the high standards that Bungie can hit, the Vex story hints have been pretty good. In the Veil Containment Weekly lore, we've heard of Chioma Essie and Maya Sundaresh, Nia Muna's founders, as they're studying the Veil and the Vex. Maya lost herself to her work through experiments with Exos and created Lakshmi 2, who would eventually return to Earth. Well, Bungie have been fairly explicit with their intention to tell more Vex stories once the Final Shape is done, saying so in a recent roundtable with the press. So Nico Stevens, a senior narrative designer, said, "I think once the Final Shape concludes, the Vex might be in a position to do some more stuff. We're trying to bring the Vex in a little bit more of a personalised way right now, and in that way, that connects with the Witness's story via the Soul Divisive. These were Vex that went all the way back to Destiny 1 with the Black Heart. They've kind of been expanded on through piecemeal drops here and there up until Spire the Watcher, which was a really big insight into the Soul Divisive, and how closely aligned they actually are with the Witness." There's definitely loads of potential there with the Vex in that first episode, but in the second episode, it looks like we're getting a Scorn story. So on the episode design, it looks like Fikrul there, and that could indicate some kind of storyline with Crow. Crow, as Aldrin Sov, helped bring the Scorn to life. It'd be really interesting to see if Fikrul had any allegiances left to him. Scorn, by their very nature, are like undead Elixni, and generally they are puppets at the command of their leader. This could be a good chance to tell a new story with Crow, Mithrax, Eramis, and also tell something new with the Scorn and also the Elixni as well. Well, the final episode that we know about so far is called Heresy, and this one is going to be focused on the Hive. So this current season has been all about the Hive, and they are one of the most compelling enemy races to tell stories about in the world of Destiny 2. Just look back at the past in Destiny history and you'll find incredible storytelling related to the Hive, including the Taken King with Oryx, the Witch Queen with Savathun, Season of the Witch focused on Eris. There's so many good stories. And we've still got one Hive sister out there in the wild with Xivu Arath, and Eris removed her throne world, so she is in her most vulnerable position that she's been in for a long time, and I really hope Heresy is going to be the season where we hunt down Xivu Arath and we got that final showdown this story deserves. Well, that is it for the episodes, but we do have some other open story threads in Destiny 2, and we got plenty to choose from, to be honest. Here are a couple that I think could be interesting. And first of all, we have the vacant Hunter Vanguard position. So when Aldrin Sov killed Cade 6, he stepped into the Vanguard there, and that states the killer must fill the vacant position. Since then, loads has happened. Aldrin Sov was resurrected in the light as Crow. He went on a redemption arc highlighted by that mirrored cutscene in Season of the Chosen with Zavala reaching out his hand in friendship rather than in fury. Now, Crow is also a hunter and would fit the position very well. However, whether this would be a popular decision in the Last City, that is yet to be seen. We've also got Cade 6 coming back in some form in the final shape, and while we don't really know the details just yet, it looks like Cade is going to be confined to the Traveller for some reason. Well, next up we have the Nine. So the Nine, they are a mysterious bunch and are ripe for expanding future stories. They are beings made of dark matter. Their primary mission is to sustain their own existence. That seems intrinsically linked to our own solar system in some way. So at present, the Nine, they're divided into two factions. So we've got one faction, there's 5 members there. They seek to study the light and use it for their own purposes. And they're responsible for sending Zur, agent of the Nine, and the emissary to interact with the Guardians. Then the other 4 seek to free themselves from their dependent on matter-based life and also the light. So the Nine appear to have some ability to predict or see the future. For example, the Prophecy Dungeon includes the symbolic references of future events, such as the rise of Eramis, the disappearance of Io, Mars and Mercury and Titan, following the arrival of the Black Fleet, then later the arrival of Empress Keitel in the Sol system. So if the Nine have the ability to look into the future, that is potentially a really exciting story device. So I really hope they bring the Nine back and we get more out of that group. Well, next up I'd like to talk about Variks. So what happened to Variks? He's a loyal fallen scribe, former warden of the Prison of Elders. He's the last known surviving member of the House of Judgment. He's also one of the few Elixni who remained loyal after the Wolf Rebellion to the Queen of the Reef. So Variks did try to go for the title, the Kell of Kells, but ultimately that failed, and he joined Eramis in a House of Salvation on Europa in the Beyond Light expansion. But after she gained the powers of stasis, Variks feared Eramis' loss of mercy, their original vision, and inevitably her sanity. Eventually he defected after learning of her affiliation with the darkness that caused the Whirlwind. He now works with the Vanguard, helping to coordinate the dismantling of Eramis' fallen empire, and also evacuate like-minded Elixni to the House of Light in exchange for amnesty from the Reef. So while we did hear a lot about Variks during Beyond Light, we didn't really get a good end to his story, so I'd definitely like to revisit it. So Variks has been with us since Destiny 1, and it'd be really good to see him get a nice ending to his story. We've got loads of stuff there. We've got 3 episodes to come after the final shape, and we've got some open story threads as well. But let me know what you think, and let me know what stories you want to see explored in the future of Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Well, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you real soon.